Today we're flying out the F-80C, and with the new battle rating changes, which are an absolute joke, but I'm not gonna cover too much of that, because we all know they are a joke. This thing is extremely fun, as long as you don't get up tier to 8.3 and you start facing sabers, MiGs and all that good stuff. If you fight the stuff at your own BR, like vampires, like LA-15s and all those kind of planes, this thing is extremely fun. It's maneuverable, it's fast, the acceleration is alright, the guns are pretty easy to use. You got the 6 M350 cals in the nose cone, and they deal quite a bit of damage. They are a little bit weird to aim sometimes, and you do have that rudder lockup, not the rudder, the aileron lockup on this thing, which sometimes at higher speeds makes it a little bit harder to get guns on people. I use the web very sparingly. You got about 1.5 minutes of that stuff. It makes you very fast, but you go through it pretty quickly, and because I'm using 20 minutes of fuel, I want to make sure that I don't use too much of it. Meteor dies on me, it's a Mark III, nowhere near fast enough to catch me. I'm going above his rip speed almost, so I can just easily fly away from him. And the reason I dove into that pack was because I have to be aggressive in this thing. The matches I have been playing at this point all went south pretty quickly, so I wanted to try to kill people as fast as I could. So I went in balls in. A little bit more than I could chew, but luckily this plane is fast enough to the point where I can just run away, and this meteor is never going to catch me. So why is he trying to chase me? I have no idea, but he won't be catching me. I'm just going to put it in a very gradual climb. I will be out accelerating him here. If he tries to pitch up after me, he dies. If he tries to go for the guy on my right, then I can cut him off. So at this point it's just a little bit of a waiting game to see what this meteor does.
Our victory is near.
But at this point I have a pretty hefty altitude advantage, and if he tries to pitch up after me, I can very easily dispose of him. But here comes a friendly, the F-84G, who comes in, distracts the meteor, and at this point I'm above all of them. The meteor just threw his energy away, and I just have a really good position right here. I'm gonna start webbing here to get a little bit of extra energy, because there's a lot of guys below me, and I want to see if there are any takers. If anyone wants to pitch up for me, I have a very easy energy trap coming up, and it's just waiting. See what they do, react to it. I got all the cards in my hand here except for the number advantage, so I'm just going to be looking at what they are doing. Who can I engage? Who's a weak link? Who can I take out first? SK60s are annoying, but as I said before, it's very easy to dispose of because it's just not very fast. Try to keep looking around, but you don't want to get jumped. SK60 won't be able to pull a shot there because the J28 will cut me off and probably shoot me down. So I'm going to break off to the left here to set up for the Vampire. Vampire won't be catching me either. I'm starting to web. I will outrun him pretty handily. I'm going to start on that energy trap. Just put it in a very gradual corkscrew, and at this point he is not going to be pitching up for this. And if he is, he will stall himself out. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Lay off the web because I want to spare it. And then I hear something. Not sure what it is. There he is, right in my face. Didn't actually see him. There he is. Dodge his shot just in time. Try to kill the Vampire. Before I do so, set him on fire. Perfect. J29 is coming back, and I'm not sure what fuel load he's running right now because I didn't have any time to observe such a thing, and I don't know the J29 well enough. So at this point I'm not very certain how well I will outturn him because I'm on 20 minutes of fuel, but he's a little bit faster. I get a hit on him and I'm extending away now because the J29 is just not very fast, but underestimated it. He probably ran less fuel than I thought he was, so I have to recommit in this. I was thinking about extending away, getting some energy up to get away from the second guy coming in, the SK60, but the SK60 shouldn't be fast enough to do anything. F-84 comes in to help. He shoots the J29 down, and we are back to extending away. And that's just how you have to play it in this thing. Mainly, it's a number advantage. I have to use my energy here. I can't use my turn rate. If I use my turn rate against 3 people at once, against people that outturn me, guess what's going to happen? Well, I can assure you they are not good things. We got a J28, which is my main target right now. The Meteor isn't really much of a problem. The SK60 is way too slow, and I'm not sure which 262 that is at this point, but it's a 262. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Even if it's a C2B, he only has 2.5 minutes of rocket fuel, and 2.5 minutes is a lot less than the 20 minutes that I have. Of course, you can use it sparingly, but the 262C2B isn't much of a problem as long as you don't try to pitch up after it. Shoot a few rounds in the head-on, don't want to recommit. It's a 262, wasn't sure which one it was, if it was the squadron one with the Mark or the MK103s. I don't want to get stuck in a head-on with that. But he tries to dogfight me. This plane is a lot better in the dogfight. Granted, he doesn't start on your 6. If he starts on your 6 and you have 20 minutes of fuel, you will not be able to reverse him very easily. Even though you have flaps, even though you have an air brake, you're just a little bit of a boat. It's a very maneuverable plane, but you want to use your energy to be maneuverable. You can't just use your turn rate alone. And if a 262 starts on your 6, he will bleed more energy than you. He will turn just a little bit better, and he will be able to kill you. So I advise you to not try to reverse those guys on 20 minutes of fuel. Other than that, you can basically do whatever you want. And here we go again. I'm going about 600. SK60 won't be able to catch up. MiG-9 late on the deck, or MiG-9. I'm not sure if it's the late or the regular one. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I'm in an F-80C. Gonna start dragging the SK60 down a little bit because I want him to waste as much energy as I can. So I want to, well, make him go faster than 600. And then if you go faster than 600 and you make him turn little bits and make him bleed some little bits of speed, he will lose a lot more energy than you will. And then they are extremely easy, the energy trap, which we'll demonstrate relatively soon here. I made him go fast, made him do a 180. I'm going 640 right now, and I'm outrunning him pretty handily. And I'm just gonna be putting it, well, in a climb, and I'm gonna be absolutely dusting him. He starts to shoot me 1.3 kilometers with those guns. Sorry, but those are not going to reach me. Still turn out of the way just in case, because sometimes you got the distance just wrong, and they manage to one-shot you because they are still very good guns, and I don't want to get hit by them. SK60 tries to dive away after he realizes he's completely out of energy. But I'm gonna be putting on the chase, because if I get him to maneuver right now, with this amount of energy stored, he will lose a lot of it, and he will be in a very bad position. He's pretty slow, he did a turn, hit him once, crit, not sure what I crit. Matter of waiting, let's see what he does. He doesn't seem to be doing too well, he's gonna be going into the ground here. Do a little bit of a spiral, make the meteor turn a little bit. After we did that, I'm trying to bait him up. F-84 misses. J-28 coming from the left.
Destroy the target.
Mark him for my teammate so he realizes he's there in case he's not looking around. He notifies me that he saw him. And we go back into this little climb. And we are in a very good matchup here. We have an F-84G and an F-80C, which both of them together can actually get some work done pretty effectively, because, well, we really complement each other weaknesses and strengths. We are both fast. We can both run people around. But he is faster and has better acceleration, but I'm more maneuverable. So we can kind of tag team people and gun them out of the air. Get some hits on the meteor, on the Vampire. Extending away again. I'm not going to get in a prolonged fight here. I want the Vampire on my 6, and I'm going to be going up again, because I will be able to outclimb him. I will be able to outclimb both of them. I want to set him up for my teammate or for myself. J-28 turns back in after turning towards my friendly, making it so that he burned a little bit of energy, and I can now pretty easily just energy trap him. He bled a lot of speed doing that, because the faster you go, the more relative speed that you lose. So if you go 800 and you lose 40 kph, it takes a lot longer to get that 40 kph than the 40 kph that you get when you fly maybe 500. Because drag and all that good stuff doesn't really matter. Just keep in mind, the faster you go, the harder it is to regain that energy. Low speed energy comes back relatively quickly, whereas the speed that you gained at high speed is a lot harder to regain. So he just lost a good 40, maybe 50 kph. I was already faster than him, so now I just energy trap him. I put him into a spiral, I go straight over him. He's going for the stall shot. Very hard shot, 900 meters. Just the chance he was gonna hit that was very, very slim, and he shouldn't have taken it, but I don't mind, because it looks very nice to stall someone out like that. And that's kill number 3. And another Vampire going in, and we're gonna be doing the exact same thing to him. And bleed him of his energy, go into a spiral, and those things just fall out of the air. SK60 on the deck has a little bit of an oil leak, so he probably isn't doing too well.
Launching
But I'm going for the Meteor. The Meteor's higher here, he's engaged with the F-84, so maybe I can do something here. MiG-9 gets team killed for some reason. Shoot a few rounds in the head on just to make sure that he doesn't want to commit with me. He's very slow, I totally should have killed him here. And he does a very nice prediction and he ends up right on my 6th. It's a Meteor Mark III after all, he turns as well as a prop does. But we're still pretty much alright. I try to stay on his wing axis, so he has to rudder over, he has to roll. His roll is pretty poor. And I just get away from him, because I'm just that much faster. I'm going 800 again. He won't be catching me anytime soon. Vampire is still above us. Keep that in mind, because if he starts diving on me, he will definitely catch me at this point. I'm faster than the Vampire, but with a hefty dive, the Vampire can surely cut you off and get very, very close. He seems to be going for my teammate, however, which makes it so that I can climb a little bit as the Vampire dives, making us energy differences smaller and smaller. And I'm gonna come back in here to make it so that he can't cut off the F-84. I can't really gauge his speed right now because he's going absolutely diagonally away from me. So I'm not sure how fast he actually is. Shoot head on to make him break off. Sometimes they still commit, and if they do that, then you might get a lucky hit in, maybe set him on fire, maybe kill him. It didn't happen this time. But I'm going to be doing the exact same thing as I did to the previous Vampire. Put it in a slide climb. I don't even need to use my web this time, because this is the Vampire for the British side, which unironically is the worst variant. Worst engine and the worst guns. The J28 has a little bit of a better gun system. There's the ACAMs or something, I forgot the name for it, the Swedish 20mm with the default belts, hit a lot harder than those Hispanos. And it has a better engine. Same for the Italian one, has a better engine as well, but it still has the Hispanos. This thing doesn't have either, and it's a little bit of a sad plane. And I'm in the F-80, and not just any F-80, it's the F-80C. He's going very slow here, got a hit on him, pretty hard shot because the plane didn't really allow me to roll there. Looks very easy shot, it was actually pretty tough to get my lead in there because he's maneuvering a little bit, he's wingtipping left, right, and I just don't have the most amount of controllability at these speeds. And the angle itself was just kind of awkward. But we do the same thing, we go back up, he's low on energy, do a little bit of a loop, and we are back on him. Not sure why he goes vertical here, because it makes it so that I get a very easy shot, and I shoot him out of the air. And at this point I have to make a decision. RTB, I have 7 minutes of fuel, which is more than enough, but I only have 300 rounds. So if my aim was a little bit better, then I might have been able to go in right now and clutch this game, but I had to go for a landing, which in the end kind of fucked me over. I got 4 kills at this point, and they got a few people left. MiG-9 spiking the F-84, and the way he is spiking him, he is not going to be getting very close, and boy oh boy will I get close to that MiG. MiG-9 is basically stalling out at this point, and I want to give this F-84 a shout out because he played it very, very well, and he made it so that we could kind of carry this game back. Unfortunately so, the timer is on 25 minutes and we are just running out of time at this point. That's a 262, he got crit earlier in this game, but of course he had the RTB. He won't be much of a problem though, we are right next to each other. He's in a 262 A1 and he's not much of a threat really. The problem is that he's gonna take time to kill. He pitches up after the F-84, and what do? I just pitch up back after him, and it's a 262. He won't be able to get very far. F-84 looks to be somewhat crit. I'm just gonna be pitching up for him here. Try to kill him as fast as I can. I have a lot of ammo left, so I'm not really worried about that. He's basically stalled out, so I can very easily just shoot the middle of his plane and take him completely apart. If this match was 30 minutes, I probably would have won it, but alas, that's not what happened. I still think this is a game worth showing, however, as this was one of the better games that I've had in a while. Just in terms of skillful gameplay and not so much high kill games, because I've got plenty of 7, 8 and whatever, but most of those 7 and 8 kill games are pretty boring to watch. Just a lot of attackers, a lot of bombers, people not paying attention, and I don't want to show that kind of stuff unless you people want to see it. If you guys want to see that stuff, be my guest, but in general a lot of this gameplay is just not worth showing. I'd rather show you something that's kind of where you can learn something from it, other than me showing you a game where I got lucky and people are just blind. Try to spray in the head on. I really want this Meteor out of the match right now, and then I can instantly go for the SK60. Wouldn't allow me to do so. Meteor isn't very fast anymore. I will be easily outrunning him here. I got my web still, I got 1.5 minutes of it, and I'm on min fuel. He's gonna be catching me for a very little while. Once we get far enough away. Look at this. There we go. My acceleration just leaves him in the dust. SK60 is low on energy as well. He's very slow. He might be able to spike me once, but after that he's basically dead. And there you go on the timer. 40 seconds left. And I just won't be able to clean these guys up in time. Even if I kill them at this point, if they both J out, I will still lose because there's a guy on the runway. And the tickers won't tick down fast enough. F-84 goes in for a last ditch head-on. SK60 is basically dead at this point. Trying to get the kill in. Get a few hits on him. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it fast enough. If I had 5 more minutes, these two guys would have been dead. Unless I made a very big mistake. But you can see that this Meteor doesn't have any energy left. And an SK60 is just extremely slow. And that's game. Very unfortunate circumstances. But you know, I think it's worth showing anyway. And it is what it is. Can't win them all. Hope you enjoyed it. And see you all very soon again.